welcome to the show. This is Everything Under the Sun. My name is Ty. Hope all of you are doing as well as you can be, and if you aren't doing well, then that is perfectly fine as well. I want to kind of just speak in this episode a little bit about, I speak a lot about more of the aspects of life that we're moving towards, the mindsets, the beliefs. I speak a lot about love and peace and happiness and joy, and I recognize that this isn't where a lot of people are right now. And that's okay. I don't want to dismiss the experiences that people are having, because they're very heavy experiences that many of us are going through right now. And I think that it's important to highlight that this isn't being overlooked when I speak about these things. I only speak about the moving towards joy and peace and happiness and love and connection and acceptance and allowance. I speak of these things because it feels good. And you feel this resonance as you listen to it. You feel the feeling that comes along with it, and it feels really good. And I know that sometimes when we think about that, and we think about that feeling and how we're not feeling that in a particular moment, how it doesn't feel like we're doing the right thing, how it feels like we're wrong for doing that. And we don't like to feel like we're wrong in any way for just being ourselves. And these emotions come with part of this human experience. So it's important not to necessarily dismiss them at all. Accept them, allow them, let them tell you what they're meant to tell you, because these are messages that are meant for us in various ways. These are things that we wish to explore, depth of feeling that we wish to explore. And I know it doesn't seem like we would choose to want that, but there is something within it. And when we feel that depth of pain, that depth of sadness, what we want is peace and joy. And what's being presented to us is the exact opposite of all of that. All the things that are keeping us from that, all the beliefs that are keeping us from that. And yes, there can be a belief that, oh, this person is no longer physically here. I can no longer hug them and be with them and be in their presence in that kind of way. That may be very true, but a lot of the pain comes from the belief in separation, the separation of someone leaving this planet, letting go of the body. And it's that belief that I'll never see them again, I'll never be able to commune with them, I'll never be able to speak with them again. That is the worst pain of it all. And I'm not saying that we have to immediately tackle or even change the things that we believe about death, but recognize that as we think about heavy subjects, if there are beliefs behind it that don't feel good, then the situation isn't going to feel good. But if we feel as though, if our beliefs, if our knowing is that there is something more than this, I am strong, I can get through this, I am resilient. If those are the beliefs that start to take hold, then we can start to move through these situations in a lighter way. They can start to feel better. I'm not saying to dismiss them at all. I'm saying to allow that depth of experience. And then there's going to be a moment that within yourself that you're feeling this feeling. It's been day in, day out for months. There'll be a moment that you recognize, I don't want this anymore. I just don't want this anymore. And maybe you've come to that point and you didn't realize where to go from there. The thing is, it's been day in and day out for months, for weeks, however long you've been feeling that feeling and immersed in that feeling. You've been surrounded by it so much that, it kind of seems like it's hard to figure out where to go. But the next step is to remove yourself from it. You're trying to remove yourself from the immersiveness of it. And it's directing our attention, because our attention has been given to that day in and day out. It's been given to that belief that I'm not good enough. Like, this person, I'll never be able to speak to them again. I'll never be able to connect with them again. I'll never be able to find myself in that situation again, or I'll never find love again. All these thoughts and beliefs are things that we're holding on to, and it doesn't feel good. It's adding to that feeling of just being immersed in that experience. So part of letting go of those beliefs is redirecting your attention towards what you wish to believe. And if a belief is too heavy to tackle, then just misdirect yourself, direct your attention towards something that just feels good. Maybe it's completely off topic. Maybe it's just laughing with friends. Maybe it's watching something special. Maybe it's listening to some music. There's so many things that can bring us out of it. I mean, you have had this experience where maybe there's something very heavy that has happened, and you're just in a very dark place, and you're crying and you're sobbing, and you just so happen to be around loved ones or friends or something, and they're consoling you and they're there with you and they're supporting you, and Maybe they say something and it makes you laugh. It makes both of you start laughing. And then for a moment, tears are still flowing down your face, but there's laughter that's happening. And you feel a lightness that starts to overcome you for a moment before your attention gets redirected back towards what you were sad about. We have these experiences all the time in our lives, and it's important to recognize the powers that are happening in that moment. Like, recognize the power of laughter and how, wow, this moment, it didn't seem to change. The situation didn't change at all, but my experience of it, I'm still crying. There's still tears coming down my face because I can still recognize the pain that's being felt, but the laughter helps to amend it. It's like a pain reliever. It happens in all aspects of life. You don't have to be in tears in order for you to utilize the skill of laughter, or just doing something that you enjoy that would normally bring peace about. And it's going to be a process because, again, day in and day out for weeks, you've been immersed in this experience. So it's going to be letting go of a lot of things. It's going to be a process. It's going to be a lot of you directing your attention elsewhere. So don't get down on yourself when you're on this journey and you're trying to find happiness and you're like, I just don't know where to go. I just don't know what to do. Am I doing the right thing? All these questions, they don't feel good. Trust me, I've felt them before. I still feel them every now and then. I'm still wondering, like, is this the right path? Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right voice to be listening to? This is a work that we're all doing in all different stages, in all different places, and there's nothing wrong with any of those stages and those places. We are all on the same journey, and it just looks different, which is very beautiful, because it would be very boring if we all had to go through the same hurdles in life. If we all had to be the same way in life in order to attain some kind of happiness or peace or anything like that. It is all within all of us, and it's this journey of allowing ourselves to notice these deep emotions, these things that trigger us, these things that pull us to a place that we know we don't want to be. Notice them, know them so well that you no longer have to hold on to it so tightly. You no longer have to immerse yourself in it and be in that experience anymore. You realize, yes, I understand this pain, I understand the sadness, but more importantly, I understand that this is no longer what I choose. I want something else, and I can have something else. It starts with the belief that you can have something else. You can have peace. You can let go of that situation. Let that be a belief that starts to be planted within your mind. It needs to be planted within your mind in order for that to change. If you don't believe that you can let go of that heavy thing, if you don't believe that you can live with it, that you can sit at the table with it and it not impact you so heavily, if you don't believe that's possible, then it will not be possible. You don't have to know what direction to go in to start training that belief to say, you know what, I believe that there is a way, and I don't know what that way is, but I believe that there is a way. And recognize the feeling that comes about when you really tell yourself that and you feel that. It feels like inspiration. It feels like peace. It feels like a light at the end of the tunnel. You are creating that light. Create that light day in and day out by focusing on the things that you want to believe and letting go of the beliefs that no longer serve you. They did their job in letting you know that you want peace over all things. You want love unconditionally, under any condition. This is what this is telling you. This is the journey that we are on. Don't feel bad about where you are. Don't feel bad about not smiling or not feeling in joy or in peace in any moment. Recognize that feeling, and when you are ready, you will feel it within. It will be a very personal knowing. When you are ready, then start to redirect your attention. Start to affirm within myself, I want something different. I choose something different. I can have something different. And I'm not sure where that is or how to get there or where to start, but I believe that things will change. Things will move in a more pleasant way for me as I start to direct my attention towards there. So you know what? I'm going to go get that ice cream because you know what? I'm tired of people body shaming me and telling me that I can't have what I want. So you know what? I'm going to just do this pleasurable thing. And if I decide that I want to not have ice cream, then I can choose that for myself, but no one else is going to tell me. I'm going to let go of that fear of what other people believe about me. I'm going to let go of those beliefs that other people have about how successful I can be. I'm going to let go of those beliefs that people have always told me about who I am and how I'm supposed to act in the world. I'm going to let go of those beliefs. I'm going to let go of them, and I'm going to start choosing for myself what I want to believe about myself. I'm beautiful, I'm talented, I'm successful, I'm unique, and all these things are incredible, and I'm going to accept that. I'm going to give myself love, I'm going to give myself respect, I'm going to give myself attention, and know that this is how I want to move about in my life. Happiness is paramount in my life now. Peace is what I am always moving towards. Giving love to myself and others, that is how I want to live my life. We affirm these things, and maybe we don't know how that looks like in the world just yet, but we are affirming it, and it feels good. As you say these things to yourself, recognize the feeling, because that is the motivation. It's not these words that I'm speaking to you right now. It's the feeling that you have as these words are spoken, as you speak to them within your own self. That is the motivation. Anytime that I'm feeling any kind of way about where I'm going or what I'm doing, I let go of that. Once I notice it, because sometimes, you can get immersed in things and it happens. Don't get down on yourself. Just say, oh, I just realized, I went back in there into that place that doesn't really feel good for me, that doesn't serve me. I'm going to redirect my attention. And when you start to say those things, reaffirm those things, I can be at peace in the situation. This situation does not dictate my happiness. When you affirm these things and you really mean it within yourself, you'll feel the feeling, and that will motivate you to keep going on that path. And maybe a moment later, something else happens that brings you out of it. It's okay. Be in it as long as you choose to, and know that it's a choice. Feelings can be very, very overwhelming, but know that it's always a choice of where our attention is. So even if we're in a place where it's very dark and it's very painful, and we would seem like, I wouldn't choose this for myself. Affirm to yourself, this is something that I'm allowing to be here right now. Take control over it. Take control over it. Don't let it be something that's outside of you, that's overwhelming you, because if it's always going to be something that overwhelms you, then there's no control in that. Take control over it by owning it. And then when we own it, when we recognize it, when we realize, like, I am the owner of this, so I can separate myself from it. I can look at it from a new perspective. Instead of immersing myself in it, I can push myself outside of it a little bit to where I'm just observing it, where I'm looking at it, where I'm one with it, and it feels heavy, but it's not consuming me. It's not drowning me out. And then as we start to look at it more and realize that, okay, maybe I want to look at it from a little bit further, and then a little bit further, and a little bit further, and that big thing starts to seem so small. And that's how we find happiness in this world. It's not eliminating those bad things as we would judge. It's not about removing them or not looking at them. It's about looking at them from a smaller perspective. They are less significant. And therefore, the more significant things are going to be more abundant. It's going to be something that you notice less. It's not like it's going to be gone. You're always going to remember that depression, that pain, that loss. You're always going to remember it, but it's going to feel like it's further away from you, yet very connected. It's a very beautiful experience because we don't lose it. If you start to feel better after losing someone, it's not like you're going to lose the memory of them, although that is a fear that many people have. We fear as though we're going to lose something by letting go of our anger, letting go of our stress, letting go of our worry. We feel like we're going to lose a part of ourselves. We feel like the world is going to go into chaos, but it's not. It's not. You're just going to feel better. That's it. You're going to feel better, and the people around you are going to feel better, and it just keeps on transpiring to, the place really that we all want to be. We don't want to be in this world where it seems like it's chaos and destruction and people hate each other and people are killing each other and war and all this stuff is happening. It's like, we don't want to see that. But it starts with ourselves. We are at war with ourselves. We are impoverished within ourselves and our beliefs and our ideas. These are the things that we are radiating out into the world. And it's happening everywhere. Every single person. There are a lot of very powerful beings that are in this place called Earth. And it's incredible the impact that we can have. So let's start redirecting our attention, and the shift will happen. I know it can seem like it's kind of hard or far-fetched to think that on a personal level, us finding peace within will transpire to peace within the world. But I promise you, if enough people are focusing on peace, they're not going to want to focus on picking up a gun and shooting someone. And of course, it's going to take a lot of time to get there because, we are in the world that we're in, and there's no need to judge anyone for any choices that are made. But it's up to us to determine how we want to feel about it. Yes, there's still war and famine and impoverishment that's happening in the world, and that can be very overwhelming. Recognize that this is just telling me that I care about these things, and instead of focusing on the detriment that it causes me within my emotion, I want to focus and utilize this energy, this compassion that I have to empower other people to make this change that I wish to see in the world, starting with myself. We can take things that are very heavy that are happening in the world, very real things that seem to be happening right now in the world, and we can utilize the pain and the sadness that we feel from that and transmute it into something that is a powerful force for good. There's so much that's within the power of our redirected attention towards an energy, a thought, a belief that feels better is very powerful. And as we start to embrace that, we can start to live the life that we wish to. But there's no judgment in where we are right now. Never judge yourself. And if you can, don't judge others. I know it's kind of hard to not pass judgment because it's something that we've done for so long. But as we stop casting judgment upon others, we are being less judgmental towards ourselves. And that is really the journey. Love under all conditions, that's not judging. Unconditional love is love without judgment. And that's what we wish for all of ourselves. Every single individual, that is what we desire. So allow yourself that. Move towards that journey. You are incredible, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are magnificent, and you being exactly as you are, the person that you are, the being that you are incredible, and never let anyone else tell you otherwise. Empower yourself with the beliefs that feel good, because it feels good. and as you start to feel good, you start to be in your true element, and it will radiate. So that's all I really have for this episode. If you have any thoughts or ideas or anything that you want to share, you can send that to everything.sunpodcast@gmail.com. You can join any of the social media groups: Instagram, everything.sunpodcast, Twitter, @everysunpodcast, the Facebook group, @everysunpodcast, and the YouTube page, Everything Under the Sun Podcast. And yeah, that's all I got. I love you all so much, and I'll talk to you soon.